developments from around the world today, Friday, April 25th, 2025. Each summary is drawn from the latest reporting to give you a clear, up-to-the-minute picture of what's happening. 1. IMF sounds warning on U.S. China trade tensions. The International Monetary Fund has issued a stark appeal to U.S. and Chinese leaders to de-escalate their tariff battle before it inflicts lasting damage on the global economy. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva stressed that trade uncertainty is significantly dampening investment and consumer confidence, noting that several major economies, including Germany, have already shaved growth forecasts amid rising costs and disrupted supply chains. China, however, has rebuffed reports of progress in bilateral talks, demanding that the U.S. cancel all unilateral tariffs as a precondition for further negotiations. Corporate America is feeling the pinch too. PepsiCo, Unilever, and Procter & Gamble have publicly warned that continued tariffs will force them to raise prices for consumers. Meanwhile, Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey cautioned that such protectionism threatens the open economy model that underpins the UK's prosperity. On financial markets, mixed signals persist. Wall Street eked out modest gains, European bourses treaded carefully, and the U.S. dollar weakened against major peers as investors reallocated toward perceived safe haven assets. Site Turn News 9. Tragic civilian toll in Kyiv as drone and missile strike kills 9. Amid the protracted conflict in Ukraine, a coordinated drone and missile attack on Kyiv's Shevchenkivsky district claimed the lives of at least 9 civilians and injured over 70 more. Ukrainian emergency services described scenes of devastation, residential buildings reduced to rubble, smoke plumes visible across the skyline, and hospitals overwhelmed by casualties. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the assault as barbaric and called for increased Western military aid to bolster Ukraine's air defense capabilities. The Kremlin, for its part, denied involvement, attributing the violence to Ukrainian drill exercises gone awry, a claim vehemently rejected by Kyiv and its allies. This strike marks one of the deadliest on the Ukrainian capital in recent weeks, underscoring both the conflict's human cost and the high-stakes geopolitical struggle playing out on Europe's eastern frontier. Site Turn Search 7. 3. India implements stringent diplomatic sanctions on Pakistan. In a sweeping diplomatic response to the April 20th terror attack in Pahalgam, which claimed 26 lives, including that of a foreign national, New Delhi has suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, cutting off a key water-sharing agreement, closed the Atari integrated checkpost on the India-Pakistan border, halting the primary land route for trade and travel, declared Pakistan's chargé d'affaires persona non grata, ordering him to leave within 72 hours. Revoked SARC visa exemption privileges for Pakistani nationals, immediately affecting hundreds of travelers. These measures, announced in New Delhi's strongest rebuke of Islamabad in over a decade, follow compelling evidence, according to India's Home Ministry, linking elements of Pakistan's security establishment to the Pahalgam strike. Islamabad has rejected the allegations and threatened reciprocal action, raising concerns about a broader diplomatic freeze that could affect regional stability. 4. U.S. faces potential cash shortage X-date. This summer, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the U.S. Treasury could exhaust its extraordinary measures and hit the statutory debt ceiling as early as May or as late as September 2025, depending on tax revenue trends. Without congressional action, either raising or suspending the current $36.1 trillion limit, Washington risks a partial government shutdown or, in a worst-case scenario, a historic default on its obligations. Negotiators in both parties are reportedly eyeing a $4 trillion increase in the ceiling as part of a broader budget package. President Trump has publicly endorsed using the reconciliation process to expedite the measure, though rifts remain within the Republican caucus over spending cuts and tax cut extensions. Democrats, for their part, warn that brinkmanship over the debt limit could trigger a recession and global market turmoil, echoing the 2011 downgrade of U.S. sovereign debt by rating agencies. Site Turn News 11. 5. World leaders mobilize for upcoming climate summit. With global temperatures in April already setting new monthly records, preparations are intensifying for the UN Climate Ambition Summit, scheduled for May 20 to 21st, 2025 FICE in New York. According to draft communiques obtained by Reuters, host nations are pushing for a 50% reduction in collective fossil fuel subsidies by 2030, binding national commitments to net zero emissions by 2050, a tripling of global renewable energy capacity within the next decade. However, divisions linger between developed and developing countries over financing and technology transfers. Small island developing states are demanding $100 billion annually in adaptation funding, while major oil exporters seek longer transition timelines. As world leaders converge, the summit's success hinges on reconciling these competing priorities. Failure could imperil the Paris Agreement's 1.5 degrees